right, hey, what's up, y'all? We are back in Natural Solutions Month, and we're talking about skin protection, and today specifically we're talking about bug repellents. Now, why are we talking about this? Well, from a selfish reason, I went up to Idaho and visited some family, and it's the first time I've been there, and I was tore up by mosquitoes. And I remember the first day being out there, I just got tore up, and I refused to use any bug repellent because I'm this holistic health guy. I'm around these other people who I've never met before, trying to be this example, and I was super stubborn with it for about half a day. And then I was like, I succumbed. I had to. It was so miserable, and I realized, you know, there's going to be some situations where we have to have something like this as an option, right? And in an ideal world, what's optimal would be not putting anything even slightly toxic on our skin, but the reality is that most of us will put something on at some point. And so we do want to have some healthful alternatives, right? Remember, we've talked before about toxins and toxicants. The reason we want to minimize this is because toxins by definition are damaging to cells and tissues and organ systems. And they also contribute to nutrient depletion and assimilation problems. And so we want to minimize them to the best of our abilities, right? So specifically when it comes to bug repellents, we just want to make sure that we're choosing the best things that we possibly can, right? If we need it. So things to avoid when it comes to bug repellents. I think this is a really good discussion for us to understand. Zappers, out of the question, because zappers are probably not that effective. They probably attract more bugs than we're trying to get rid of. And they're very indiscriminate. If you care about other animals, like, you don't want to be killing everything, right? Yard treatments are toxic, right? So we're breathing in, we're contributing to some environmental damage, so that's not a good thing. Clip-on repellents and fans and things that disperse a repellent into the air is not good because we're breathing in those toxins. Candles, same thing. And I have not found citronella, those candles that we can get from different companies, to be effective at all. We light those candles all the time when we're camping, or used to, and still got tore up by mosquitoes, you know, so I don't think they're very effective, and we're breathing in these different toxins. Essential oils, you know, theoretically, plant-based, botanical, should be a little bit safer. They can be very irritating to a lot of people's skin. And at the same time, I just don't see them being very effective. I've used doTERRA's, TerraShield, and it just not effective at all, okay? And then wristbands, same thing, marginally effective and not a very good radius of protection, and they just don't seem to be effective, you know, so things we do want to try, natural alternatives before getting into actual bug repellents. Make sure you're draining standing water around your home. When you're inside, make sure you check the seals on your windows and doors so you're not letting bugs in. It sounds kind of common sense, but when I read this, I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You know, it's a good reminder. You can always use fans, and whether it's indoor fans or outdoor fans, to keep bugs off of people. And then covering up is useful. I know depending on how thin the clothing is, some bugs will bite through that, but just covering up in general is going to minimize your bites. So, and then when it comes to repellents, we're going to go through a few different types of repellents and the ingredients to look for. So the lemon eucalyptus or the PMD on children less than 3 years old is probably not a good idea because their skin is so sensitive. Using more than 30% DEET is going to be something that's dangerous. We don't recommend using bug repellents on children that are 6 months old or younger at all. And then again, not using foggers, because foggers, you have this inhalation problem. Aerosol sprays are not going to be good because, again, we have this potential of breathing in these different toxins. And then we've already mentioned in the sunscreen module, sunscreens mixed with repellents are not a good thing because of the synergy of toxins that happen there, okay? And then also being exposed to the sun. So remember, our strategy when we're coming up with these different product picks is we research the best list of products through EWG and the EPA. The EPA actually has a really good bug repellent resource. And then we cross-reference with our holistic health leaders, people like Chris Kresser and Dr. Mercola and Mark Sisson and Sarah Ballantyne and Dr. Axe, a few others that we throw in there sometimes, see if they have any articles written on this information. Bug repellents, there's very skimpy info. I think most people are kind of anti-bug repellent. And then we want to compile all that information together and try to find some products on Amazon that have decent ratings and reviews, right? So I think that's a pretty solid process. Let's talk about some of the acceptable ingredients in a bug repellent. So I think my top pick as far as effectiveness goes is going to be picaridin. Picaridin, that's it, picaridin. And picaridin at a 5 to 10% concentration is going to be good for a couple hours. Picaridin at 20% is going to be good theoretically for all day. So it's very low inhalation toxicity potential, and it evaporates from the skin more slowly than DEET, so it gives you some longer lasting protection. It performs very similar to DEET, but it doesn't have a lot of the toxicity potential of DEET. And then its assessment through EWG was pretty top notch, right? So it's a relatively new ingredient, so it doesn't have a lot of experiential data behind it, but it seems to be very, very promising. And again, if we're not using this stuff all the time, like I have no problem using something that has picaridin in it, or picaridin in it. All right, sorry. Now, DEET is also an acceptable ingredient for bug repellents. And when I first read this, I was like, there's no way, all right? Because I heard so much about DEET in previous years. And the reality is that if DEET is used effectively or properly on the skin, and you're not putting it in your eyes and mouth, and you're using it at the right concentrations, it's very effective and it has very minimal toxicity effects, okay? So we definitely want to avoid DEET sprays. It's been one of the most tested bug repellents in history, and it's generally safer than some other ingredients that we probably want to avoid, all right? If you're looking for something a little bit more botanical, then oil of lemon eucalyptus, or PMD, which is its concentrated version, is going to be a good option. It seems to be very, very effective. Can be very irritating to some people's skin. Testing shows that it's actually as effective as DEET in some situations, depending on the concentration. It can offer a shorter spectrum of protection. Maybe that's one of the drawbacks of it. We don't recommend using it on children. And it can be something useful for those people that are just diehards wanting to be in the botanical realm, okay? So if I had to rate those ingredients, I'd say my top choice is going to be picaridin. And then if you want something more botanical, you can go for the oil of lemon eucalyptus, or PMD, okay? So let's talk about the picaridin options first. Again, you're looking for 5 to 10% concentration for some short-term protection. You know, so if you're just going to be outside a little bit for a little afternoon dinner party or something, that would be a good option. If you're looking for something a little bit more long-lasting because you're out camping or something like that, then the 20% is going to be the better recommendation. I recently ordered Natrapel's 12-hour insect repellent, and it is not a spray. It's actually kind of like a pump situation where it's squirting out some liquid and it's not turning into an aerosol. So super excited to carry this with us when we go backpacking and hiking and stuff like that. Another really good option is going to be Avon's. Remember their Skin So Soft versions. So actually we want the one that is the Bug Guard Plus, okay? Picaridin, sorry, I freaking messed that up so many times. All right, so that's got really, really good reviews and checks out really well on EWG and EPA's website. And then OFF's Family Care Insect Repellent Clean Feel. It has to be this Clean Feel version because there's other ones that have scents and things in it which are considered very toxic, okay? Now let's look at the oil of lemon eucalyptus, or the PMD versions. We have several that are pretty awesome. We have Cutter's lemon eucalyptus, and then we also have OFF's botanical lotion, and then we also have Repel's lemon eucalyptus, and those are all really good options. Have great reviews on EWG, EPA, and also great reviews on Amazon. All right, so I think that's about all we got as far as bug repellents go. Again, ideally we would not be putting anything on our skin, but the reality is that some of us need something some of the time, and so we want something that's effective and relatively safe. I have no problem whatsoever with picaridin. I don't have any problem using DEET if that's the only thing that I have access to, but if I have a chance myself to purchase something, then I'm probably going to purchase something that's picaridin based. And then if you're a botanical diehard, you can get the oil of lemon eucalyptus or PMD versions. And I think a good homework for this is to get some bug repellent that you can keep with you or keep in your gear for certain situations, so you have that. And so that if you're going out somewhere and there's a potential for mosquitoes or bugs or ticks or flies or something like that, you have an option available that you're comfortable with, okay? And if you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe to our newsletter at superhumantransformation.com. And also all this information is located at our community website at community.superhumantransformation.com. And we look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.